Seamus Murphy, author of A Broken Reflection and his new book, Becoming an Ocean, available now. Seamus, thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for having me today.
It is my pleasure. Now, I got a chance to read some of your new book, Becoming an Ocean, and it is set in Neenah, just a little south of where we are in our studio here in the Fox Cities.
Yeah.
Tons of references to like Neenah High School and the Rockets and that kind of thing. Before we get into the book, tell us a little bit about your experience growing up.
Oh, yeah. Well, I grew up in what I consider the greatest place in the world, which is Neenah, Wisconsin, and the Fox River Valley in general. I just love the place. So grew up the seventh of 8 children in Neenah, and it was really fun to set the story there because I know it so well, and I love the place.
Yeah, and that really comes through in this book. Now, I read Becoming an Ocean. In your first book, A Broken Reflection, do you similarly use some of your memories from growing up as a setting or in other ways influencing the work?
Yeah, well, the memories do influence. The story is completely made up, of course, but just the setting of Neenah and it just brings out a lot of good memories, and I use those in the story, of course.
Yeah, it really, again, comes through in the writing. Now, in the new book, Becoming an Ocean, this follows, I'm just going to give a little bit of a synopsis. You can fill in more if you want to. This book follows what I'd call a down-on-their-luck father and son through an unexpected experience that leads to some good fortune. Give us a little sense of why this story. What is it that you were telling in this story here in Becoming an Ocean?
Well, yeah, so without giving too much away, the father actually wins the lottery after you described so well being down on his luck. And much of the hook of the book is that he decides that, or God tells him that it's his mission in life to actually give all the money away. So that creates some tension and leads to some and really sets the story, the set of events in motion for the story.
Yeah, and you do. Again, I didn't get through the whole book, but I did read quite a bit. Got up to the point of the winning and the beginning to give away the money. And I got to say, your writing style, Seamus, is really vivid. And I want to actually read just one little passage here, if you don't mind.
Sure. Go ahead.
The main character, Danny Monahan, we see him kind of growing up. And in the first few chapters, we follow him through middle school, high school. And he has kind of a budding relationship. And early in the story, we have this scene at this party. And he had an experience here. And I just want to capture the way that you conveyed this, which I got to tell you, for me, really took me back to my middle school days. I'm just going to read this one paragraph here.
Sure.
In the 7th grade, the average boy-girl relationship lasts about as long as one wash cycle for your blue jeans. Thus, I believe that Beth and I were wise when we became friends instead of boyfriend and girlfriend. Although there were no more kissing, the memory of that one sticky, sweet encounter kept me going all through junior high. Her kind spirit and her common sense were much more useful to me than any awkward adolescent groping might have been. I mean, anybody who lived through middle school, I think, can identify with that. What inspires your writing? What are you thinking when you're putting together prose like that?
Oh, I guess I'm just drawing on those experiences from back in the day, and I'm glad you picked that passage out because I think that's one of the best passages in the book, actually. So,
well, it jumped right off the page at me, and I had to read it a few times, and I knew as soon as I came across it, I would read it here in this interview. But that paragraph is representative of the style of the entire book. There's just such vivid imagery that you use and really descriptive language to bring people into this experience. And it's not just sort of the description of the setting, it's a description of the emotions when this young man sees his father, who had struggled economically as long as this boy has known his father, to then see him get this fortune of winning the lottery and then see how it does and doesn't change him. What of that are you drawing from your personal life? I mean, is there anecdote or is there autobiography going on here?
Well, I think every writer brings a little bit of himself into anything he writes. In this case, it all started with a 2-word question. What if? What if a guy won the lottery, and what if he, decided to give it all away instead of just living a good life? And that's what it comes from. It's imagination more than anything.
And so you are actually going to be hosting a signing for this book. Is that right?
That's correct. Tomorrow from noon to 2 p.m. at Lions Fine Books. That's in downtown Neenah, 127 West Wisconsin Avenue, inside the marketplace.
All right. So inside the marketplace there, Lions Fine Books. Your chance, you'd say noon to 2, right?
That's correct.
Noon to 2, downtown Neenah in Lions Fine Books, a chance to meet Seamus, get a copy of his book. I highly recommend this book. I got to be honest, I don't read a lot of fiction, a lot of novels and things. And so it's always fun for me to discover a new author, a new book, particularly when the writing is this strong. So Seamus, I want to end by asking you, I know we have a lot of people who listen to the show who enjoy reading and also enjoy writing. Do you have any advice that you give to young, aspiring, or not so young, aspiring writers who might want to put together a book?
For me, Josh, writing is a compulsion more than a hobby or a job. So you have to do it every day, keep at it, and stay true to yourself as well.
Yeah, so being able to really draw on those personal experiences. But the point about doing it every day is really important, right? This is not something you can just hop in and out of.
No, I think it's a lifestyle more than a occupation.
Oh, that's great. Seamus Murphy grew up in Neenah. He lives in Wisconsin, and his new book, Becoming an Ocean, tells a really powerful story about good fortune and what it does to people, how it changes them or how it doesn't change them. And it's just such a powerful book. I highly recommend it. Becoming an Ocean by Seamus Murphy. You can meet him and get the book at Lions Fine Books, downtown Neenah, Saturday from noon until 2. Get out there, get the book, meet Seamus. Thanks so much for the time today, Seamus. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Again, that's Lions Fine Books, noon to 2 tomorrow, a chance to meet Seamus, get your copy of Becoming an Ocean and his original book, or I should say his first book, A Broken Reflection. Get them both, get them signed, and meet Seamus. And you can hear a bit more of his story. And you can hear a bit more